Okay, so let's look at this problem. This is FRQ number 1. So the question says, in experiment 1, students release a disk of mass m and radius r from rest at the top of a ramp that makes an angle theta with the horizontal. The disk rolls without slipping, as shown in figure 1. The rotational inertia of the disk is I sub disk equals 1/2 mr squared. Okay. A1. On the diagram in figure 2, draw and label arrows that represent the forces, not components, that are exerted on the disk as it rolls down the ramp, which is indicated by the dashed lines. Each force in your diagram must be represented by a distinct arrow starting on and pointing away from the point at which the force is exerted on the disk. Okay, so the first thing we have is the force of gravity. So the force of gravity is acting from the center of mass of the disk. So we have the force of gravity acting from the center of mass. We have the force of friction. So this is the force of static friction. So because the disk is rolling down the hill and not, or rolling down the ramp and not sliding down the ramp, it's the static friction rather than the kinetic friction. If it were sliding down the ramp, then it would be kinetic friction, but since it's rolling down the ramp, just like a car's tires are exerting static friction on the road as they roll. So just like a car's tire, this disc, as it rolls down the ramp, has static friction. And then we have the normal force pointing upward. Okay, so those are our forces. Okay, so for number 2, we want to derive an expression for the net torque exerted on the disk in terms of theta, the force of friction, m and r, and physical constants as appropriate. We wanted to begin your derivation by writing a fundamental physics principle or an equation from the reference booklet. Okay, so our fundamental physics principle is, we have, we could say, Newton's second law for rotation. We could say the sum of torques is equal to I omega. So the sum of torques in this case is just the force of friction. So we have the force of friction is the torque that's causing the disk to roll down the hill, and that's equal to I times omega. And of course, torque is equal to R times F times sine of theta. So we can write this torque, the friction, as R times, or capital R, times the force of friction, and that's equal to I omega. Okay. Okay, so for number 3, it says to determine an expression for the net force. So we're talking about net force here, exerted on the disk in terms of theta, FF, M, R, and physical constants as appropriate. So begin your derivation by writing a fundamental physics principle or an equation from the reference book. So this can be Newton's second law. So the sum of forces is equal to MA. So the sum of forces for the, so actually before we do this, let's go ahead and draw our free body diagram here. So we've got our, okay, so that's our angle theta here. So That's our angle theta. Okay. So this is the force of gravity. So this is the force of gravity parallel to the disk. So that is equal to the force of gravity, and that's the opposite angle, so that's sine of theta. Okay. So we've got two things going on here. So we've got two types of motion. So we've got the rolling motion. So the disk is rolling as it goes down the hill, but it's also has translational motion. So it's also moving in this direction down the ramp. So it's rolling down the ramp, so it's got rotational motion, but it's also moving just translationally down the ramp. So it has both rotational and translational motion. So what we're looking at here is the translational motion. So part 3 is looking at translational motion, or A3. Okay, so our sum of forces, we have Fg sine theta minus the friction force is equal to ma. So we can rewrite that as mg sine theta minus the friction is equal to ma. And that is the translational force, or that's the net force that's causing the disk to move down the ramp. So not the rolling force, or not the rotational motion, but the translational motion. All right, so part 4, derive an expression for the translational acceleration of the center of mass of the disk. Express your answer in terms of m, theta, and r, and physical constants as appropriate. Begin your derivation by writing a fundamental physics principle or an equation from the reference book. Okay, so we're going to start by writing the relationship between translational acceleration and rotational acceleration, or angular acceleration. So translational acceleration is equal to alpha times the radius r. So if we solve for alpha, we say that translational acceleration is a over r. Okay, so if we bring the information that we had from the last two problems over, so we have r times f is equal to alpha times I, and we have that mg sine of theta minus the force of friction is equal to ma. Okay, and I is equal to 1/2 mr squared. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is change this force of friction. So let's substitute our alpha here for alpha here. So we have r ff is equal to a over r, and then this is times 1/2 mr squared. So we get rid of one of the terms of the radius here, and then we can divide both sides by the radius here. So that gets rid of our other term of radius. So we have, our friction is equal to a times m over 2. Okay, so we have the force of friction is equal to a m over 2, which we can replace in our translational motion here. So we have mg sine theta minus A m over 2 equals m a. So our masses divide out. So we're left with g sine theta minus a over 2 equals a. So add the acceleration, so add a over 2 to both sides. So we have g sine theta is equal to a plus a over 2. So I want to give this a common denominator. So that would be, so we'd have 2a over 2 plus a over 2. So that ends up being 3a over 2. So we have, so setting a by itself, so we have g sine theta is equal to 3 halves a. So setting a by itself, we end up with a is equal to 2/3 g sine theta, which is the final answer. So our expression for the translational acceleration is 2/3 g times sine theta. Okay, now for part B. So in experiment 1, the disk reaches the bottom of the ramp in time t sub disk. In experiment 2, the students release a block of ice from rest. So we're releasing a block of ice from rest from the same height of the ramp inclined at the same angle theta as shown in figure 3. Friction between the block and the ramp is negligible. The block reaches the bottom of the ramp in time t sub block. So we're trying to figure out, indicate whether t disk is greater than, less than, or equal to t block. So is t disk greater than, equal than, or less than t block? So t disk is greater than t block, and we have to justify our reasoning. Okay, so why does the disk take longer to reach the bottom? Why does the disk take longer to reach the bottom of the ramp than the sliding block? So the disk has both rotational and translational kinetic energy. At the bottom of the ramp. The block has only translational kinetic energy. At the bottom of the ramp. So the block has greater acceleration than the disk. Over the length of the ramp. Okay. since the block's acceleration is greater and the length is the same, the length of the ramp is the same, the block takes less time, to reach the bottom. To reach the bottom of the ramp. Okay, since the block's acceleration is greater and the length of the ramp is the same, the block takes less time to reach the bottom of the ramp. So since the disk has both rotational and translational kinetic energy at the bottom of the ramp, the block has only translational kinetic energy at the bottom of the ramp. The block has a greater acceleration. So the block takes less time to reach the bottom of the ramp.